You're listening to Real Estate and Bourbon. Whether you like it neat or on the rocks, you're in the right place. And now your host, Dawn Roy.
Oh my goodness, here we are for another episode of Real Estate and Bourbon. It's been a hot minute since I've been here. Summer got away from me a little bit, having some fun. Been traveling, doing things.
Traveling? Where have you been traveling?
I've been going to Clearwater.
Florida?
Mm-hmm.
My hometown.
You lie. Is it really?
Yeah, that's where I grew up.
Get out.
And I was there when you were there. I just left a little earlier.
So like was it Memorial Day weekend? Were you there?
Oh, no. Sorry. That was another time.
Yeah, and then earlier in May I was there.
Yeah.
And then I'll go back and anyway.
Yeah.
Did you go to the beach? Because Clearwater Beach is supposed to be...
Well, my favorite is Dunedin.
Yeah,
that's my favorite. There, you do not have enough time in your life to go to all the rooftop bars.
So the cobblestone.
Yes.
Back in the day, my dad was lead. He kept the construction contractors on time and budget for that that whole thing.
Well, look at that.
That was like 20 years ago, though.
Who knew how much we have in common, Michael?
But that was I
love that.
My whole stomping ground.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Real Estate and Bourbon brings you more connectivity than any other podcast. I don't care what anybody out there is telling you.
Restaurants wise, it has grown crazy.
St. Petersburg, downtown St. Petersburg is fantastic.
Yeah,
and did you know in Clearwater they're building the amphitheater that opens at the end of June? And I will be going to some of the concerts.
Yeah.
There.
Because right now the biggest one is Ford Amphitheater. Or it's not Ford Amphitheater anymore. It's something else. Just outside of Ybor. But it is really a fun place. It's still home.
I love it. It's lovely. And I've got a dear friend of mine, Chris Johnson, who I'd love to have on the podcast. He is a Tampa realtor, and I got him on the hot hunt for a condo that'll allow me to Airbnb.
That's what I've been trying. That's what I'm trying to find.
I got somebody to hook you up with, and I'll only take 25%.
I have a friend that's a realtor. He works for Remax down there. But, I wanted to find a house that was on the canal so I could have a boat.
Yes.
And I could Airbnb the boat as well as the house.
Hey, it's all about monetization. Yeah. As Robert Kiyosaki says, debt is only good debt if you can monetize it. So before we get too far, welcome, gang. Welcome to Eddie. Thanks for being here today. This was a surprise for me. I'm so excited to see you.
I'm glad to be here.
Great. And you're going to sip a little bourbon with me, even off camera.
Absolutely.
Yes. For all the listening audience and the viewers, I did offer to have you on camera.
Yes, you did. And I politely declined.
And you did?
Sometimes I've been on camera in the past and my bald head has shined so much that the exposure on the lens just goes crazy. So,
babe, real women like bald. I'm just putting it out there. So I'm not going to say anymore. This is Jefferson's. It's out of Louisville, Kentucky. I have this bottle. I am so fortunate in so many ways. Because people know that I love bourbon, they will often either share their bourbon or buy me bourbon, and I graciously take.
That's a very nice perk.
So this bourbon is from my sweet friends Kelly and Kate, who are in the brokerage with me at Open Gate Realty Group, and I showed some property for them during, I guess, the kids' spring break. They have children younger than mine, and this is what they did. This is how sweet they are. They gifted me this beautiful bottle of bourbon, which we are going to sample. All right. So here's for you, and for those watching, an arm is going to come across the table because he doesn't want to be on camera.
So did you, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Did you find out what we're drinking today? Because you said you were going to look that up a little bit before we started rolling.
So I looked, as much as my non-glasses person, see, I have contacts in. If I don't have reading glasses on, I can't see squat. But it's called Jefferson's, and it's out of Louisville. It's an 83 proof. It's like 82 and change, so 83 for just a round number. It's actually, for me, I kind of swim in that 95 proof to 100 on a regular. So this will be kind of like a Pinot Noir to wine. To me, when you get down in the low, like the 80s, you get less of the spice, a little bit, not quite so harsh. I had a conversation with a gentleman I met. We went to Lake Anna. Friends of ours have a house in Lake Anna, and so we did like the little wine and brewery thing on Saturday. And when we got back to their house, I jumped on a bottle of McKenna 10 year, and I did ask permission before I opened it. And there was a gentleman that was there, and he said, "Well, I'll do some of that with you, but I need ice and the stuff." And I'm like, "Oh, please, please don't do that. This is Henry McKenna 10. Do not." He goes, "Well, there's two, whatever." I'm like, "We got to ease you in, boo. I can, if a girl can do it, you can too." Yeah. So we got to so anyone out there who likes your old fashions or likes to mix their bourbons or always put ice in a bourbon. Yeah. Ice really ruins the flavor, because what it does chemically is the water molecules attract the flavorings. Okay. Right? And then what you're left with is just the alcohol. It strips all of the other stuff, and then it attaches to that ice cube, right? And then all you're left is really just the flavor of just because bourbon goes into the barrel clear. Right. The only reason it's caramel is because of the charred barrel.
It's pulling the stuff out.
It's pulling it out. Yeah. So take go to your local pub and take a few of their little stir straws and just put a couple drops at a time to kind of soften it for you. But if you get a good smell first with your mouth open, which makes you look kind of silly, but do it mouth open. Just brings all that profile into your palate. Wow. First sip is going to be spicy. That's where you're going to get the spice. But this is not very bad because it's, like I said, it's only 83. Then the next one, you start getting the caramel and the flavors.
This one's very
it's quite
caramel forward.
Very caramel forward. Yeah, yes.
It's good. Really good.
And it's not super dark.
It doesn't burn. It's super smooth.
Yeah.
What I like about this, and I think sometimes it depends on, because not all bourbons or whiskeys are like this, but there's a little bit of an earthiness sometimes to the smell and the taste.
Yeah, and it's almost a smoky too.
Yes.
Depending on how long they were in the barrel, it's always going to be a white oak. So there's no change in the barrel type.
Okay. And that's
it's about how long they're in.
For bourbon, right?
Yes, that is a requirement. Okay. That's a standard for it to be called bourbon.
But I think I love that earthy smell. I love the smoke smell and the taste. Yes. That's what I look for when I'm sipping anyway. So
I did profile a beautiful rye. I don't know if you were here, but Catoctin Creek is out of Purcellville, Virginia. Yes. It's a 100% rye. Phenomenal. In fact, my boo and I are invited to a friend's house, and she's a chef on Friday, and she's a rye girl, and I'm going to take her a bottle of that.
Awesome.
And it's a $45 price point. It's not a bad price point, and it's readily available in the Virginia ABC stores. Okay. So, but Catoctin rye, it is so yummy.
I think that was
it is one of the ones I drink. That's really kind of my, that's what I keep on my bar for sure. I mean, I have a few choices, but of your basic price point kind of, not your Elijah Craig at 30. This is a little bit step up, in my opinion. It's just I like Elijah Craig. I mean, Buffalo Trace makes some beautiful stuff, Eagle Rare blends. But it's like wine. If you go from 30 to 45, you're changing your price. You go from 45 to 60 or 70. You know what I mean? You're changing what your product is.
I mean, I've heard people say I had this, this wine that's such and such, so old, and it's 100 years or whatever, and they're like, I don't even know why anybody would drink it. But I think when it comes to bourbon and whiskeys, it really does matter, because it's what they're pulling in and out of that barrel over that temperature that they're sitting in. And,
and in their warehouses where they stock the barrels, right? They're like these dark, beautiful places of magic. Where the barrel is in that building also affects how the flavoring comes out.
Yeah.
Because if it's closer to a wall, does it get more heat in the summer? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you'll get chefs. I went to, when we were down in Clearwater for Mother's Day, I think it was Memorial Day. We went to see, we saw the Doobie Brothers with Michael McDonald.
Oh, gosh.
It was the awesome shit.
I did not know they were touring.
Everybody on stage is like 75, and they jammed for 2 hours, and they were unbelievable and incredible. And I will send you a picture when you edit this video.
Okay.
The restaurant we went to in St. Petersburg, downtown, the chef had gone to Kentucky. He had picked his own barrel, and he called it Yellowstone. Like after the show.
The show, yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, $14 for a pour. Let's get on that, right? And so I said, I'll take that neat, the little waitress. And so this guy comes around after she walks away and he's like, was the, maitre d' or whatever, the restaurant. I heard that you ordered that neat. I'm like, yeah. He goes, well, just to let you know, that's 109 proof. I'm like, bring it. It's not my first rodeo. Let's go. And I've got a photo of the bottle, and you can put that up just so you can. But and I've got the name of the restaurant, and I'll also provide that because if you're in St. Petersburg, fantastic vibe. It's like this little strip. It's like Carytown, but on the other side is water.
That's awesome.
It's like this bar, walkable restaurant, cutie place. So I had the Yellowstone, and I liked it a lot. And I wish I should have tried to see if I could buy a bottle. So they had it bottled and a label put on it and the whole 9 yards. I mean, they went. So as a chef, and if you go to Mac McCormick's over here in Chirp Pump or the one downtown, he goes and does barrel picks. He has a barrel pick of Eagle Rare.
Wow.
That I would give a child up for. I would.
That's
sad. Or at least, sell them off for labor of some sort. But anyway, I love this. This is a good one.
Yeah, this is really
and I'm
good.
glad you're here because I might be moving.
Really?
Yeah.
No, we don't want to see you go.
I don't want to go. Well, first of all, I want a condo down in Clearwater. So any realtors who want to help a sister out.
We should call. Well, he probably won't pick up. I was going to say, should call my buddy and find out what the market is down there for.
It's this shit like it is here. And I've got news. Listen, the market here is crazy. And I've got stories about that too, which is probably, we'll do that for another podcast because I know of a property that went on the market for like $659 and is going to go under contract at $847.
Oh my gosh.
Help me out.
People are really willing to pay that much over the.
It's ridiculous, and part of it is where it's located. I mean, if you're in like Bellevue and a lot of these really hip places in the Fan and stuff like that, that's what's happening. So I'm thinking, shoot, if people are spending a lot of money on houses, maybe I should sell my house because this lovely company called Open Door has solicited to me personally an offer. Claim your offer at opendoor.com.
I think the key word that you said was solicit.
And I know if anyone, here is my warning to all y'all. Don't get catfished because this is catfishing right here. I am like, they've got to be crazy. So they have offered, and I live out over here in Midlothian. They're giving me an offer, or they're putting it out on the table between $343 and $419. That's their window of opportunity for me.
Okay.
That's about $50,000 lower than what I could get in the open market.
Really?
Oh, all day.
See, now that's the benefit of being a realtor, knowing the market, knowing the area. Somebody else that would not know is not the business.
A lot of times, and I think the people that most jump on this kind of thing are, like siblings whose parents have passed and the mom and dad's house, we all moved. And the house is the one we grew up in, and we just don't want to deal with it.
Right.
So solicitations like this may be enticing. I would just forewarn you, you're leaving money on the table. Reach out to a realtor because listen, you cannot sling a dead cat without hitting a realtor in Richmond. I mean, that's the truth. Someone who knows someone who knows someone whose second cousin twice removed is a realtor. I mean, that's the truth.
Even if it takes you that long.
If it takes you that long, you may not, listen, go on Facebook. The funniest thing on Facebook is people making arbitrary, I really need a realtor to buy a home in, Chesterfield or wherever. 120,000 posts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is what I usually respond. Boo. Surely you know someone at church or at work or someone that has someone. You need a recommendation person to person. This arbitrary nonsense that, just who you got out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think that's the way to go about finding. I mean, would you do that for a cardiac surgeon? Hey, I have blockages in 3 of my major arteries. Do you know somebody who will cut me open and give me open heart surgery? I mean, right? Yeah. Is anybody doing that? No. And I'm not equating us to heart surgeons, but you'll spend as much, you can lose as much money. Surgery is going to cost you a whole lot of money, and selling your home inappropriate is going to cost you a lot of money. So, I mean, I could sell this pretty quickly on my own, obviously, as a realtor, but I could get a realtor. I'd get Miss Susan. She could sell my house, and it's probably at least $50,000 over their top number.
That made me think of a question. So as a realtor, if you wanted to sell your home, is it that you're not allowed to do that, or you just prefer not to?
Great question. You can.
Okay.
You absolutely can, and a lot of them do, because then they're not paying that, a listing. They're only having to pay the buyer side, right? I think the only time I've ever seen a realtor not do that is when they basically are in a referral. Their license has been tabled into a referral status. Okay. They're no longer active. So there's differences. Okay. You either have an active license or a referral based license, and there, I'm just sending you somebody and you're paying me a referral fee. I'm not actively a member of the MLS. Right. I'm not an active member of a lot of different of the services we use. Okay. And I've also seen agents who own commercial property refer that to a commercial realtor. Oh, okay. Because it's a different animal. Makes sense. It's a totally different dog. You know what I mean? Or maybe I've got a property in Clearwater. I'm not going to sell that down there because I don't have access to the MLS unless I choose to participate. I'd have to get a license, and I'm not going to do it. Okay. So it just depends on your situation.
Okay, so there's a lot.
But here in Virginia, I mean, obviously, I could sell my own house. You know what I mean? I would. Come on, it would look fantastic.
You could do it a lot better than that piece of paper too.
I could do a lot better than open door. Thank you for trying to date me. I appreciate that, but I'm going to swipe left. Thank you very much. I have other offers that are. I get text messages all the time.
Maybe that's what we need. Maybe we need a Tinder for realtors.
Zillow is Tinder for the average consumer. I'm just telling you, you are on a Tinder profile when you're looking at Zillow. It's the truth. I have always equated real estate with dating apps because I think we swipe left and right. I mean, everybody gets their phone and they start looking for real estate, whether it be Zillow or Redfin, wherever they go. It's an app. And it's like left or right. Do the pictures entice me enough to swipe right and look a little further into the process? Is the narrative of the listing enticing? Or were the pictures taken by the agent with their cell phone and they are blurry and there's a cat? I had a lady call me one time to list her home. She was going to basically fire the agent she had. It hadn't sold, which was not common at the time, even now. But I mean, it was only a couple of years ago. And I went through but I can talk to you if you call me, but I can't approach you if there's a sign in your yard. It's called going behind the sign. Oh, okay. So you, the consumer, can call me and we can have a conversation, but you've got to terminate that relationship with your current agent before I can step in. Okay. Okay? Out of respect as well. And I was on the phone with her and I'm looking up the listing. And I said, Boo Boo, have you seen the pictures of your house? And she goes, well, no. I said, well, a nice German Shepherd in the crate in the kitchen.
Oh my gosh.
No lights were on. It was very dark. And it was a nice house, which is really the shame of it all. It was a very nice house. And I was like, this is what I'm going to ask you to do. Have a conversation with her and just get her to, I said, I've got a photographer. I'll give you his name. Get professional photography. I think it will change the presentation. Yeah. All the way around. And they ended up doing, I don't think they called Michael, to be honest with you, but they ended up getting, taking some of my advice. I said, you need to redo pictures without, Clorox wipes on the counter. You know what I mean? It looks like you're in disarray. Yeah. And it looks like a fixer-upper when it really isn't. And they ended up getting that under contract by taking some of my advice. Thank you very much. I was not paid for said advice, but I'm okay with that because the universe goes round and things come to you. It
is pretty amazing, though, to think that there were, we've lived in a time where now it's even more critical that those photos have to be. You have to have a certain number. They have to look so spot on. And,
oh, yeah.
Because there's so much competition out there. You're right. It's swipe left or right. If I see this house and I won't even go past picture 1 or 2.
Even if it fits all of your criteria.
Right.
Even if they're, like this dating app, 6 foot, good income, not within a 30-minute drive, all the thing, little hair on the face, don't have to have hair on the head, but hair on the face, cha-ching. I'm just saying right now. But
that's like bourbon.
Must be okay with me drinking bourbon. If you can buy it and I'll drink it. How about that?
You were going to say something about the text messages. I get those too. They're so annoying.
You get a text message. Hey, Dawn, are you? We'd like to make an offer on your house.
Yeah.
And I have responded to them by saying, well, if I sell my house, I'll do it myself.
Yeah. So you responded. You actually respond. I did a response too to someone.
Well, because I'm that.
Well, they don't know who they're messing with. They don't text you.
They don't know who they're messing with. And I just want them to take my name off their database. I'm a realtor. Yeah. No need to continue chatting with me.
Right.
I'm a dead end for you. So I'm just, it's like, this is going back to dating. I've had a great time, but I encourage you on your continued search because this is not a fit.
This is not going to work out for the two
This is not working out for
I'm
Mama.
just saving us time.
I'm just saving us time. It's like, thank you so much. I enjoy getting to know you. I appreciate your text. This is not a fit for me. I wish you all the best on your continued search. That's nice. It's fair. That's what we should do. Be kind,
I just never know when I get the text message if I'm really communicating with a service or a human being. I just don't know.
And I am very hesitant. We're getting inundated with this AI nonsense, and I'm gonna call it nonsense because, in truthfulness to the audience, I have not done enough deep diving to tell you yes or no, which I'm going to because I continually to get emails and offers through LinkedIn and all this stuff to plug into that as from the real estate perspective. But I'm hesitant personally because I'm relationship based. I don't want you ever to I have done some services that random texted people and it doesn't come over well.
Right.
Unless they have ratcheted up that to another level that I'm not aware of. And I truly am. I'm going to do a deep dive and understand it so that we can talk about that here. Because I think realtors do need to use resources. I mean, it's just like, the cell phone, the real estate industry made cell phones what they are. I mean, let's get real. The photography, the videos that we do on social media, all of these things are progressions in the profession.
Yeah.
This may be a progression in the profession, and I need to educate myself about it so that I am either well-informed enough to say yes or no. Or however, is it part of my business model or not? I don't know because I don't have enough information.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm not going to say it's a bad thing, but I do not like automated things.
Right.
And just like you're saying, I find the current generations like the X and my kids are millennials. They're skeptical of that stuff.
Okay.
They just are.
Which I think it's healthy to have like a little bit of a skepticism.
Yeah.
Stuff.
And you should. I mean, like anything. And, I get, and not only text messages about buying my house, like text messages going, your Facebook account has been disabled. Click on this link. Yeah.
Your Netflix account is like, I don't have Netflix. Why are you texting that my account has been locked?
Yeah. There is a charge on your credit card do you recognize this charge? Click on the link. Folks, I know you're all savvy because you listen to this podcast. Don't click on any link, whether it's emailed to you or texted to you. I ignore it. I don't even pursue looking into that. You know what I mean? I have no interest. And listen, if they want to disable my Facebook account, I don't care. I don't. Isn't that terrible? But social media, for me, now there are agents who do a lot of work on social media and that's their bread and butter. It's just, I begrudgingly post on social media, and I probably should do more than I do. And I'm open to that and learning more. It's like this, you guys send me stuff and I'll post it on Facebook or, this and that and the other, or Instagram. But I'm a face-to-face, they call it belly-to-belly, face-to-face kind of agent. I want to be in front of you. I want to talk to you. You're going to hear me. You're going to get a phone call from me. We're going to work through this process together.
Yeah.
It's going to be bumpy and hilly, and it's going to be a little bit of a roller coaster, but we're going to come out on the other end, And I don't want a robotic kind of touching my people.
Right.
I'm protective of them.
Well,
and their information and their privacy, by the way.
I think the one thing that I've noticed in the little bit of study that I've done on like AI and certain things like that, and other people have said it too, is that it's not to the point where that part of, like, if you and I are talking,
right,
my personality and your personality, they come through.
Absolutely.
There's little things we say, even the smallest little word maybe we use, or the slight accent, or whatever it might be. With AI, it's only going on what it's been programmed so far.
Correct.
So there's little bits of information that are not coming across, and that's that personal touch I think you're talking about.
Yes, absolutely. So. And it just depends on where you are as a realtor and what you want to do in your business. If you're trying to do massive numbers, you're going to have to institute that kind of thing in your business. It has to happen. If you've got a bunch of buyer's agents and listing agents and that's what you're, go for it. That's great. That's not me. I have, I want to keep it very personal and intimate and like boots on the ground. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's how I want to keep my business. It's how it's worked best for me, and I want to stay there.
Yeah.
Well, there's certain aspects of AI like Chat GTP that you can utilize your database. Like, so you could say, you could literally take in the URL of a website or your reviews, say if you have a review page, and say, give me the pros and cons of this reviews and which ones do I need to address, or which ones do I need to optimize, or and it will automatically do it. So Eddie and I have gone into in the past 3 months of utilizing different AIs to benefit us.
Absolutely. And I'm not saying that it's a total negative and something that I won't incorporate at some point to some level. But I have not done enough research to be anywhere an authority or have an opinion worth listening to.
It's too new. I mean,
you know what I mean? Really, and everybody's rolling out with this. I mean, every coaching guru in the real estate space. And I will say this so that I piss off at least a couple of realtors. You got to be in the business longer than 18 months to call yourself a coach. Call me that kind of bitch.
Well, I think that's a
swear jar.
Little strange that someone 18 months.
I've seen them like 18 months, 2 years, and all of a sudden they're some kind of coach. I don't know. I mean, maybe they're a savant and I'm just not smart enough. But there is so much to learn, and I learn something I tweak and learn something new every single day. With every interaction with another agent, with a client, with a deal that we're doing, I learn something every single day. And I will never be the one to tell you I'm the shit and I know what's going on. I never. But I will tell you to get my money, you're going to have to be in the business a little longer than that. So you got to be in the business longer than me. Let's put it that way. Well, or have something. You have to have more gravitas. You got to be such an expert in this thing that I'm like, woo, I didn't know anything about that.
Well, it's qualifications. So if
it's totally.
And we live, unfortunately, we live in a society now that kind of looks at things where anybody can be that coach. Anybody can be this or that. But I still feel like at the end of the day, if you don't have the qualifications, if you don't.
But I watched a YouTube video.
I know, but.
What? I got a certificate in the mail. I'm a sleep coach. I'm a life coach. I'm a wellness coach. I'm a financial coach. It's hysterical. I filed bankruptcy and looked at little Dave Ramsey. I'm now a financial coach.
I
bet you
wear glasses. I can probably tell you what to do with your finances.
Right. I use QuickBooks. I know what's going down. I follow the stock market on Yahoo. What are you talking about? But that's the truth.
Yeah.
And kind of to circle back to like this letter that I got, don't accept or talk to folks. I mean, talk to them at your discretion. I mean, I'm warning you. If you want to open that door, hint, wink, wink, nod, nod, and call people like, now, because Zillow's out of the business for buying houses, by the way. They went bust. Their ass is grass. But places like this open door, and I don't know who they are, and I've not ever even looked up their website. But if you're going to take anybody who's going to call you or send you a piece of mail and make an offer, it might be fun to entertain the idea, I can get the house sold quickly and I don't have to deal with anything. Step back a moment and do what we're talking about here. Go and get someone in a position of authority in real estate, in your local market, and get another opinion before you jump on what you think is easy money. Because you're really, in this market right now, Richmond is one of the hottest markets in the country. End, period, full stop.
Wow.
We are in a multiple offer situation. If I have one more person ask me when the prices are coming down, never.
Yeah, once they go up, good luck getting them.
And people, right, they're like, well, the interest rate's 7%, and? So the money's a little more expensive. But you've got to understand buy the home that fits your needs and be done with it. And then, in a couple of years, if the rates go down to 5 or 4, I'm lucky. I'm locked in at a little sub 3. 2.9, whatever. And you'd have to take a crowbar to pry me out of that house.
Yeah,
I will rent it before I do that.
Yeah.
Rents are up. Home prices are up. The interest rate is not slowing down the buyer and the seller that have to buy and sell. It is a killer to first-time home buyers, without a doubt. Who were barely qualified at 3 and 4, they're out at 7.
Yeah.
They have no shot. But just stay in touch with a realtor. Don't sell your home without a realtor. I'm begging you. You're leaving so much money on the table.
You have to have somebody on your side.
You do. You absolutely. And they think, because houses, I've had folks say, well, your business must be really rolling because houses sell so quickly. Well, not really. For realtors, we kind of want the sign in the yard for a little bit to attract other business.
Yeah.
If my sign goes up and down real quick, I got that listing, but I didn't maximize the potential for my business with that because people call, do sign calls or whatever. I get listings from other listings.
Sure.
We saw that you sold. We like the pictures that you did. Can you come talk to us about,
Yeah.
But you've got to be up for a little bit, for more than 24 hours, You've got to have someone also, if you were to get multiple offers on your house, how do you negotiate that and tell the difference between what offer is decent and what offer is not?
Do we have time for one story?
Do we have time for one story, Michael? Can he tell a story and then we'll kick it out?
We're at 34 minutes, it looks like.
Chatty Cathy's today.
I know.
Because we're
Chatty Cathy's.
fun, vivacious, attractive, and lovely people.
Well, and you haven't talked about me at all.
And yet you've chimed in.
And yet
Please
you
explain.
right, like his little ears pricked up, isn't it?
All right,
Tell me
quick.
your story.
It does tie into what you were saying. It ties into the importance of having a good realtor, one you can have a relationship with.
Right.
So, my wife and I were living in Tennessee. We had moved out. We've been living there for about 7 years in Nashville. Loved it, but needed to come back to Richmond.
Right.
We just had my daughter. When we did that, we went with an agent. The agent came in, and everything seemed great. Came in, laid all the information out. We signed the paperwork. She was going to do some staging around the house or whatever. Now, at this particular time, it was when the market had bust. So
Right.
A little more difficult to...
Took a little longer to sell the house.
Exactly. So we waited. We were patient. We weren't kind of an aggravated, we didn't get on her nerves and call her every day and bother the snot out of her or anything. But after a while, we found out there was another agent that maybe our personality would work with better through a friend of a friend, right?
The word person. I love how you said personality. Exactly.
Because it's a big deal to me.
It's a connection, and because it's a team event.
Yes,
we're going to be with each other for a very concentrated, specific period of time, and we all need to be on the same page.
Right, because I want to be respectful of what they need me to do, and I want to be proactive, but I want them to also be respectful of me and find out what I need too.
Right.
So we decided we would like to get the other agent. So we contacted, we were respectful to her too, and said, we need to phase it out. What's our limitations or whatever. And we did. And so we were gone one night to dinner, and she came back to get some of the things in the house that she had staged. And some pillows, some whatever it was. We get back home, and everything seems fine or whatever. The next day, I get up to go into my office there in the house. I sit down at my computer. I look over at the printer, and in the printer, there's a piece of paper that's been left there that she wrote me a little nasty little note saying, I can't believe you did this to us after all the stuff that we put in, the money that we put in to help you sell your home and blah, 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 blah. So,
you bastard.
I know. How dare you do
you
what's
POS.
best for you? Yeah. So at that point, I was like, I definitely know exactly what you're talking about. It needs to be. It is a partnership, and if it doesn't gel, then But yeah, she was a little bitter. Bitter party of one. So.
Oh my God. Well, and that happens.
Yeah.
And even with your best efforts, sometimes the connection isn't there, or at least, because I almost am brutally honest to the point. Some people like that I'm direct, and some people don't, but I'm going to tell you all of the, hills and valleys that we're going to go through.
Sure.
That's potential, and I need you to trust me, and I need to trust you.
Trust.
That's the big thing.
Trust is a big
and
thing.
it really is, because we're in a relationship. And if you stay even if you don't stay in the area, I mean, I still reach out to people that have moved, to other states, and they've had babies, and I keep up with them on Facebook and stuff. I'm going to be connected to you till one of us goes to Jesus. That's how I see it. You know what I mean? I want a positive outcome for you, but I need you first to let me have the tools to fully represent you. Mm-hmm. And if you felt a disconnect and things weren't jiving, you were in every way in your right to do what you did. And it is unfortunate for her, she took it personal.
Right.
And I think taking anything personal is, you kind of have to go at life with no expectations. And I mean your professional life, your personal life, your anything. Just if you have an expectation of another human being, they're going to disappoint you.
Yeah, definitely.
Every single time. I love that you were here today. And we didn't have to talk to Michael all the time.
Still listening, still here.
Still listening. We love you. I love you. Listen, I referred you to one of my boos in the office.
Yeah, so...
I did. I mean, she put the text out to the group text and says, I am desperate need of a really good photographer for this date. And I'm like, I got you. Boom. And I shoved out your information to her right away.
I appreciate it. When I left, she texted me because I said, hey, don't forget to send me your headshot and all that stuff. And she's like, oh, I appreciate it. Usually my listings are a little more streamlined this. I said, don't worry. Susan and Dawn warned me about you.
Okay, so I won't be getting bourbon from her anytime soon. Thank you so much, Michael. And on that note, I think we should make this a joint venture more often than not.
Absolutely.
Because I love you both.
Mike might want us to wrap it up quicker, but yeah.
Yeah, he might want us. He wants to either be involved or
under time, actually.
Yeah. But I want to thank everyone for listening today, and I hope you're having an amazing summer. I want you to like, follow, do all the things. Let your palate drive what you drink in bourbon. There's no bad bourbon. It's what you like to drink. And my motto right this point in my life is just go out and have amazing experiences with exceptional people, and you'll never go wrong. Great to see you. Can't wait to see you again.
You've been listening to the Real Estate and Bourbon podcast, hosted by Dawn Roy. Have real estate or bourbon questions or a juicy story you want us to talk about? Call our hotline at 804-293-0550, and maybe you can be on our podcast. This has been a Studio 77 production. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow the Real Estate and Bourbon podcast.